You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Thanks so much for joining me here today on our first house call of the weekend. Really enjoy being able to connect with you on these Saturdays and Sundays, able to answer our community's questions on all things wellness, weight loss, anti-aging, and of course, everything in between. No topic is off limits, so really excited to get started. You heard the private intro. I know that if you're not listening this weekend, it will have disappeared. That's why I really do recommend tuning in every single day as possible. The Cabral Concept. We have a lot of pop-ups for people that were asking. It's at equilibriumnutrition.com. That's where that pop-up offer, again, you won't see it, but that purchase when made today at equilibriumnutrition.com, if you heard the intro, again, it will be gone by Monday morning, so you won't hear this in the future, but it's at equilibriumnutrition.com. All right, let's get now into our first question. I'm excited. Janice has a question. She's saying, I heard you on Ben Greenfield's podcast, your interview. Have you had any success using detox approach to overcome symptoms of Parkinson's disease? Can you help me? I'm 64. All right, this came in on July 24th. So again, we're maintaining about 12 weeks behind with our questions, getting back to you. Of course, questions can be answered daily, and they are at cabralsupportgroup.com. Head on over there for your daily answers. Now, so what I want to say is this, Janice. We take a true underlying root cause approach. So Parkinson's disease, we know that it affects dopamine receptors. We know that it affects neurotransmitters. We know that it affects parts of the nervous system and brain. So what we do is this. We say, sure, there's a lot of things we can do. Detoxification is one of them. So we are absolutely starting everyone with a 21-day Dr. Ball detox. We're moving them more towards a plant-based diet. We're using a lot of natural anti-inflammatories, such as the omega-3 support. We're using the daily nutritional support. We're using things that help to ramp up phase 1, phase 2 detox, like the sulforaphane that I spoke about. But we're also looking at, why did this come about in the first place? So for me to say that there's just a Parkinson protocol is not the truth. And I, again, have an allegiance to the truth. So there's no way that you can say to one person, this is what you do for Alzheimer's, this is what you do for Parkinson's. I would be doing you a disservice. We do start with the 21-day Dr. Ball detox, but then we're running labs to figure out what is going on. Now, I do really recommend checking out my 3-part series on Alzheimer's. There's a big overlap between Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia. So I can't recommend that enough. Just going into stephencabral.com/podcasts and typing in Alzheimer's. At that link, or those 3 podcasts, when you find them, you'll actually get all the blood work to run, all the labs to run, and that is what I recommend, Janice. All right, thanks for writing in. Christina's up next. Dear Stephen, I just wanted to ask, when you start to send to Europe, will it ever be possible for me to buy a lot of some of your detox and other good stuff? I've a health coach clinic in Denmark and would be so grateful if I could give my clients all of your products. The all-in-one, I don't trust any other than you. Are there any way this could be possible? Kind regards, Christinna. Absolutely, Christinna. Thank you for writing in. And if you're part of our integrative health practitioner program, you're actually going to be able to become an ambassador for Equilibrium Nutrition if you choose to. Of course, it's totally optional, but it will allow you to actually buy in bulk and you'll receive a commission for it. So it's our way of, if you're willing to spread the word, then we want you to be compensated for that. I believe that's actually a nice thing to do. I think it's a great thing to do is, let's make this word of mouth. We spend $0 in advertising. We don't. I'm talking obviously in the podcast every day. I'm trying to teach about good health overall. If people want to promote the products because they believe in them, then I think that's absolutely incredible. Because as you know, that my dedication to Equilibrium Nutrition, the formulations there, is that whenever there is a product that there's a need for it in the market, that it's not there, or it's just too expensive and we can make it for less for you with the same quality or better, that's what we do. And that's why there aren't a million products there. I mean, there's a good amount, of course. There's probably I think there's somewhere around 45 or so products. by Equilibrium Nutrition. And that's, in the grand scheme of things, that's not that many because we promote a lot of others as well. So yes, Christinna, November 5th, we go live to Europe and 15 other countries. So pretty fantastic. We'll be at, I believe, over 20 countries total. So I'm excited about that. Sean's up next. Dr. Cabral, I've been interested in health benefits of sauna for a while and would like to know if I should purchase an infrared or a heat-based sauna. I listened to your podcast on 524 and I'm familiar with the study you referenced. However, I think you represented the study. It was based on heat sauna, not infrared. Specifically, they state the results of the Finnish sauna. So I understand what you're asking. And so, Sean, I don't believe I misrepresented it at all. I actually said it was a Finnish study on a Finnish sauna. So it was based on the higher heat. And the higher heat was based on the 19 minutes. And as I've said many, many times, that if you're in a hot sauna, somewhere between 170 and 200 degrees, you're going to stay in between 10 and 20 minutes. That's the typical length. That's what you need. And if you're in an infrared sauna, somewhere between 130, maybe 120 degrees to 150 degrees, you'll stay in between 25 and 45 minutes because that's what the research shows. So, Sean, just to clarify that, the less heat, the longer you stay in, and then you get the benefits from the infrared as well. And the higher the heat, the less time you spend in it. So I use both. I think they're both fantastic, and I think you get benefits from both. So just remember, in a holistic viewpoint, you can actually get benefits from multiple different modalities, not just having to say one is always better than the other. It's like saying, no, broccoli is better than cauliflower, right? Because it's green. It's like we have these arguments over, which one is best. But honestly, the best sauna is the one that you purchase and the one that you use multiple times per week. All right. Thank you for writing in. Janelle's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm just needing your help. I don't know where to start as there's so many different stories, protocol, et cetera, et cetera. I have lupus, fibromyalgia, and now I just found out I have MTHFR gene X2. I honestly just don't know what the protocol I should do. There is vegan, low protein, keto, intermittent fasting. Okay, so she goes on and on. Janelle, we're happy to help. So again, please, everyone looking into their genetics right now, your genetics are not going to give you the protocol that you need to get well. They're going to give you what you need to watch out for in your future and for longevity and what you need to be able to counter that. But your genetics and MTHFR gene mutation are not going to say, oh, you're going to get lupus because of that. And I'll tell you why. Because once we help you get well, or another practitioner helps you get well, you still have that MTHFR gene mutation. But you're still well. How did that happen? You were well probably 10 years ago. I don't know you, but probably 10 years ago you were well then. But you still had that same gene. So what we're really talking about is gene expression, which means that something is going on right now that's causing you some type of autoimmune, some type of inflammatory, some type of tissue-based inflammation. So I've done many, many podcasts on fibromyalgia. My hands down, first of all, you need to optimize your vitamin D levels. Second is you need to make sure that there's no heavy metals, there's no toxins in the body. You make sure that you don't have leaky gut, intestinal permeability. So again, highly recommend that you run an organic acids test, that you run a stool test, that you run a hair tissue mineral analysis. Those are my three for you. Organic acid, stool, hair tissue mineral analysis. Absolutely, that's where I would start with. If you want more to run, well, of course, I'm always recommending the Dr. Ball Big 5 because with that, you get the omega-3 test. This will tell you if your omega-6s are too high. If they are, you will get more inflammation. You will feel more of that fibromyalgia-based pain, and it can move, right? Fibromyalgia could be in the shoulders and in the elbows. It could be in the gut-based area. It could be in the legs. We work with people with lupus and fibromyalgia all the time. I had fibromyalgia as a teenager, so I know where you're coming from. And again, look for those underlying root causes. Don't worry about what the diets people are saying, whether it's ketone, whether it's this. Find out the right protocol that works for you, which is going to be an anti-inflammatory based plan in the first place. All right. Judy's up next. Can you please address appendicitis and its relation to inflammation? Sure. So appendicitis is, one of those great mysteries. And we are not always able to put a finger on why it happens. However, for a lot of people, it's a buildup of toxins in the intestine because that essentially appendix acts as essentially a lymph node, as a drainage center, as a cleaning center. And when it gets full or it grabs onto some type of bacteria that shouldn't be there, it begins to become inflamed or it begins to grow and swell. And that is partly because it does act like a lymph node. And as it acts like a lymph nodes can get swollen, right? It can swell. Well, that has not a lot of space to go and not anywhere else to give. So what can happen is your appendix can rupture. So yes, it has to do with inflammation, but we see it more in terms of previous gut-based issues. Now, again, I believe there are other causes for it as well. I'm not going to rule it down to just that one, but I've seen so many people with, later in life issues with diverticulitis. I've seen later in life issues with IBS or previous issues with IBS, previous antibiotic use, occasional cases of food poisoning, and that's when I've seen the appendix become a real issue. So, just to let you know, that's what I see in my practice. It may differ in certain other places. I don't know what the exact question you had for me was, but we're also happy to answer it inside of CabralSupportGroup.com. So yes, appendicitis is without a doubt part of an inflammation, but if you have inflammation in your body, I don't think that it necessarily attacks the appendix. I think the appendix is inflamed because it's also having to deal with some type of bacteria that shouldn't be there in the gut as well. I mean, again, keep in mind, it's right there. It's right near that ileocecal valve. And when you look at it, you say, okay, this makes sense, because that's a place where things could get backed up, and they do often, because that's when the small intestine is basically moving its waste into the large intestine. And it's at the very bottom, right? It actually sits at the bottom in that lower right side, and then has to work then back uphill. It's the perfect place, actually, for bacteria to fester. So again, theory, not proven yet, could be in the future. We'll keep you updated. All right, Jen's up next. Pretty long question, so I'm going to ad lib, and then everyone, of course, can go to StephenCabral.com/995. 995, I believe, for today's podcast. I was about to say 996, but it's 995 today. All right, so that's where all the show notes will be. Dr. Cabral, love your podcast. It's really the only podcast I listen to on a regular basis. I'm a health coach, and I'm always learning new things and able to dive deeper with my clients because of your information. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. I really appreciate that. I honestly do. I love seeing success stories and people being able to help other people. I have two questions. Hope that's okay. I'm studying naturopathy, but I also am reading the textbooks by Dr. Lad that you recommended, and I'm connecting with Ayurveda. Is becoming an Ayurvedic practitioner something you think would be a wise investment if I'm wanting more financial stability, or would it be better to invest in 4 to 5 years of studying naturopathic medicine? I realize both are enormous financial time commitments, so I'm just wondering the right path. My family is full of allopathic doctors, so their advice, while well-intentioned, is pretty one-sided. All right, so let me answer your first question. If you're looking for a career, I think you can do either, honestly. It just depends on the message you bring to the world, and like how it is in your own unique way. And again, we need as many voices as possible, in my opinion. But you'll always have more work as a naturopathic doctor than as an Ayurvedic practitioner. And I shouldn't say always. It's so hard to say. Because it's like you follow your passion, and whatever you're passionate about, people can see that. They can see the energy, and it attracts more people to you, and people want to work with you, and then you get such great results. So I'd hate for you to say not follow your passion. I would love for you to follow your passion. But I can just tell you there's no BIMS degree in the United States that I know of yet. I was actually looking at one of the first programs more than a decade ago. But anyway, honestly, you can't go wrong with becoming a naturopathic doctor. So there's that, but also career-wise, we are teaching right now integrative health practitioners for a fraction of the cost, and they're going to be certified within 6 to 12 months' time, and they're going to be working with clients, in their own way, virtually. So, follow your heart. That's really the only thing I can say, and it's always the truth. It always will be the truth. I can't tell you what to do. Follow your passion. Follow what you love. Follow what you won't get tired of. There's no way I'm ever going to get tired doing what I do. There's just no way. There's so much that I'm interested in, and then I pass that on to you. That's what I recommend. Okay. Second, I'm curious to know what you think about the medical medium. I know you're always a very positive person and make a point to not go on your podcast and offer criticism of anything. I appreciate that about you. I really love how the medical medium has gotten many people excited about eating fruits and vegetables. It's awesome. But I was curious about the idea he shows thyroid dysfunction is typically caused by thyroid virus Epstein-Barr. Thank you for all you do. Really respect your work and willingness to inform the world. All right. It says, I honestly don't know how you have the time to make a podcast every single day with running your business and having a family. It is inspiring, honestly, a little mind-boggling. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. And it isn't easy sometimes. I don't want people to think that, what I do is easy and that every day is easy. And it's not. Every day is not. I have fun every day, though. I do love every day. but it's a lot of work, and so I don't ever want to disguise that fact or say that it's not. It's a lot of work. It really is. And now that we have our integrative health practitioner program, that's even more. And so, the thing is this though, but I followed my passion. So as I'm putting in all the hours, I'm really loving every minute of it. Now, do I have like 3 5-minute spurts during the day where I get stressed? Then I move on past it. I just move on. It's like no big deal. I just say, it's not even really, even when I feel it, because I've gone through so much in my life and my career that I just have a different perspective. And I'm happier now. That's it. So, that's all I can say. But, again, I don't want people to think that it's all, rainbows, unicorns, and sunshine every day. I have a great time and I have a great life and I'm very, very happy. But, there's a lot of work and, sometimes just with anything, there's a good amount of stress sometimes. So I've spoke about the medical medium. I want you to check out my podcast on celery juice. So just go to stephencabral.com/podcast, type in celery, and you'll find exactly that podcast. The medical medium is Anthony Williams. I think he's a brilliant man. I think he's very, very intelligent. I've actually spoken with him before. And, I have to tell you that he's actually very well read as well. Now, so I'm a huge advocate of what he talks about. More fruits and vegetables, plant-based. We both believe in plant-based. He believes in nutritional supplements as well. A lot of people don't know that about him, but he's actually big into nutritional supplements, zinc, and many others. Do I believe that thyroid dysfunction is caused by just the thyroid virus and Epstein-Barr virus? No, I do not. So that's where, Anthony and I will disagree, but I respect him as a practitioner. I think he's brilliant. I would love to work alongside with him on any project or anything that he has because I respect him. I do not believe that a virus causes every thyroid-based issue for sure, and not Epstein-Barr virus. Do I think Epstein-Barr virus is rampant in our society? Of course, but that doesn't lead to everything, right? Because we help people fix thyroid-based issues all the time. And we're not running Epstein-Barr antiviral protocols. We're not. So we help people all the time, like literally every single day with low thyroid and Hashimoto's. Every single day. I can't think of a day that's gone by that we don't see someone in our practice for digestive-based issues, adrenal energy-based issues, thyroid issues, and hormone imbalance. That's every day. Now, then there's some more rare ones, which might be like, okay, someone comes in with child with autism. Well, we get quite a bit of ADHD and ADD. But, so then there's just more rare ones. Like, okay, someone comes in with Huntington's or someone comes in with, Graves, which is the opposite side of the spectrum. That's more rare. Now, rare meaning like maybe once a month because we see so many people. But no, I don't think it's all virus-based. Absolutely not. Nope. It can be deficiencies that I spoke about before. I did a podcast on the minerals that lead to low thyroid. I've done a podcast on the toxicities that lead to low thyroid. I've talked about how the adrenals affect the thyroid. Again, we do this all the time. I'm so confident in helping people with thyroid issues. I really am. We do it all the time. So, but yeah, again, there's no disrespect to Anthony. I think he's fantastic. Ann's up next. Hi, Dr. Ball. Is there a safer shaving cream that we should be using or are drugstore brands okay? Great question. I just spoke about this in my toxicity-based one. Did a toxicity podcast just this past week. Do check that out. It was it's just this past week. It was it was like 993 or so that it was the toxicity show. Here's what I want you to do, and I've been giving this recommendation out quite a bit. Just go to ewg.org. ewg.org. It's the Environmental Working Group. And you can just type in shaving cream, and there's 65,000 products that they've reviewed. It's pretty remarkable. It's actually amazing. And so they're an amazing organization, Environmental Working Group, and they test the toxicity of skincare products, of everyday household cleaning products. I can't recommend enough that you go to ewg.org, where you just simply type in shaving cream if you want a general recommendation, or type in your favorite brand and see how they do in terms of toxicity level. All right, Judy's up next. Judy's asking, I recently heard that seed cycling can help balance hormones. What are your thoughts on seed cycling? And I know that you wrote this on July 29th, so my show hadn't come out during then, so I'm sure you heard about it because you tuned in the podcast. But on the Cabral Concept, we did a show called The Foods That Balance the Female Hormones. So check that out. That was a show on seed cycling. Or you can just go to stephencabral.com/podcast, go to that search box, type in seed cycling, or just seed in quotations. It'll pop up. All right, Jana is up next. Jana, Jana or Jana. Hi, Dr. Ball. My name is Jana, and I found you on Melissa's Ambrosini's podcast, Vegan Done Right. and I was fascinated. I've been vegan for 15 years, and everything you said resonated with me. I don't know if you personally read these messages, but I hope it gets to you. My husband and I are so passionate about health and well-being, and we try to constantly educate ourselves to feel our best. We don't go to the regular doctors, and although we try to eat and live healthily, we sometimes aren't sure we're doing it right. Being healthy is very important to us. Now trying to get pregnant. Is there a way how I can schedule a Skype consultation with you? I was looking into your tests, and I'm not sure which one to do. Please let me know if you provide phone consultations. I would love to talk and hear from you. Thanks so much. All right, Jana, on the podcast page, Ask Cabral, where all these questions come in, it does say that there's about a 12-week wait time, but you can ask at support@stephencabral.com. If it's like a coaching question, you could send an email about products or orders at support@equilibriumnutrition.com. And if you want same-day questions to something like this right here, you can just go to cabralsupportgroup.com. So I've got a great support team. I really have an amazing team. We have a huge team now, and they're here to support all of you. I mean, that's literally their job, and we're all here to support you. I mean, that's all of our jobs. Like my job is literally to support you. It's my job to teach. It's my job to do consultations. It's my job to lead the future of health coaches, which are integrative health practitioners. So let us know. Just know that anybody who writes into Ask Cabral, it will take 12 weeks. I wish it went faster, but again, I just have the weekends to be able to answer these questions. So absolutely, of course, you can do a Skype consultation with me or one of my team members. I just want you to know I am booked right now at least 3 months in advance. So what I am recommending is that you do meet with one of my health coaches. I review all of your labs. I review all of your symptoms. And I also give recommendations based on those labs that you do run after you meet with one of my health coaches and you go through a consultation. So you go through the consultation the same exact way as if you went through it with me. They will recommend the same labs that I would recommend, and I go with that as well. I review your labs. I meet with my health coaches 2 to 3 times a week, and I read all of your labs, and then I give my recommendations. So that is absolutely something we'd be happy to help with. All right, let me do one more question here. Hi there. I think a great podcast topic would be the harm of plastics or trying to go plastic free. Leanna wrote this. Leanna, thank you very much. And, just 2 weeks ago, we did a podcast on the hidden dangers of hormone disrupting plastics. Check that out. Just go to stephencabral.com/podcast, scroll back, or just type in plastic and you'll see that. So thank you for the recommendation. And it was so good. I apparently knew it was coming and we did a show on that. All right, let's get one more. Cindy Ward, I'm doing Amanda Tress's program. What do you think of her program as a lifestyle long-term? I think Amanda Tress is great. We do a co-branded line with her, supplement line, and I think she's got a great weight loss and fat loss based program. So that is my answer, Sydney. All right, we're going to keep it at that for today. A lot of great questions. We answered a ton, but I will be back tomorrow. And remember, if you listened to the intro, if it was still available because you listened the same day or the same weekend, head on over to equilibriumnutrition.com. Make your purchase and you'll get that free gift in the mail. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.
Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests, or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE LIFE /labs.